What's happening, buddy? This is Hayden Adams with A Designer Who Codes. In this video, I want to show you how you can turn your type to gradients and make sure the gradient holds on either a short or a long sentence when it comes to a title. And with that, let's get started. All right, so I'm starting with a basic HTML template right here. I use the Bootstrap template, and really the only difference between a default template and a Bootstrap template is I have a link href sitting right here. And I added the link href custom CSS. So if I go to custom, I can type something like body and make it a background color of purple. If I save it, it turns purple. So I've got a custom CSS file and I've got an indexed HTML. The first thing I want to do is I want to build a dark background for my gradient to sit in. What I'm going to do is inside this body tag, I'm going to say div class equals, we're going to call it dark BG. We're going to create this in CSS, and we're going to use the Bootstrap padding to get a little extra padding. So PY stands for padding top and bottom, and you can do 1 through 5 for the amount of padding you want to add, courtesy of Bootstrap. If I say the word hello world, let's bring it up here, and we'll drop it in. What will happen is there's padding on the top and bottom. We just can't see it quite yet. Let's head over to our CSS. And let's give that dark BG some actual dark color. So in custom CSS, I'm going to say dark BG. And in here, I'll give it a background color. I'm going to give it the color of 252525. Now what I get is this beautiful, rich, kind of dark black. And there's hello world. And just for fun for right now, I'll say color will be white. We'll change it later on, but just so we can see the word hello world show up in that arena. Also thing I want to do is I want to move hello world towards the middle of the page. So I'm going to create a single column design. So for here, I'm also going to say single col, since I'm already in my CSS, and I'll say max width will be 750 pixels. This is important to note because I want to show you what happens to the gradient in relationship to the width of its parent. So we're going to say max width 750 and margin is going to be 0 auto, so it sits in the middle of the page. Now that I have the single call, what I'm going to do is come back down here to this H1. I'm going to change it to where it's now going to be inside the single call. So this H1, if I take it out for 1 second, div class single call, open and close, and now it sits in the middle of the page. And because it is in the middle, it's just going to move back and forth in a responsive like style. Back to where, there we go, in that arena. Now, the next thing I want to do is I actually want to add the real gradient text. So what I'm going to do is for the H1, I'm going to say H1 class gradient text. And here's where the magic's going to start to happen. But also what I want to do is I'm going to bring some text as well so we can see how the gradient works and how each line of the CSS has to work together for the gradient to work successfully. I'm going to say P class, and the word lead is built into Bootstrap. So if I say the word lead, just makes my paragraph type a little bit larger, like a lead amount of text. And I will also then say lorem to drop in some basic Greek text. All right, we've got the HTML looking pretty good. Hello world, and a basic amount of information right here for the lorem ipsum text. Next, we'll head back to the CSS and let's actually make the gradient text. We can take out this color white. And what I'll do is I'm going to put that on the paragraph tag. So what I'll do is down below, I'll make some room because what I want to do is I'm actually going to put it right here for the gradient text. And then below, I'm going to put the P in terms of color. And I don't like for pure white. So for this design, I'm going to give it a light gray. So I'm going to say color, # A4, A4, A4 for a light gray text. So it's sitting right here. And of course, we can't read hello world. It's essentially black on this dark gray. Now for the gradient text, I'm going to sit right here in between it. I'm going to say gradient text. And if I drop it in, I'll say background image is going to be, I'll give it a return key, so not none. And I'll tab it in. I'll say linear gradient And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say 0 degrees, comma, and I had a color of FC5C7D, comma, and then I had the color of 6A82FB. And in here, I'll then close it up. What's going to happen is note how this block goes all the way across the page. This is okay because if you think about it, it's going up and down. But if I were to change the degree, let's say 90 degrees, I save it. What I want is I want this box to not go across the entire div. I want it to just stop right on the H1. So I'm going to change this to the different display from a block to an inline block. So I'll say display, and I'm going to say inline block. What's going to happen is now notice how the gradient stops right at the exclamation point. That is critical when it comes to the gradient. Otherwise, it won't look the right way if you're having gradient going left to right or in the new Bootstrap world, start to end. So don't forget the inline block for the display. After that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I'm trying to type. Let's say background clip will be the text. And then I'm also going to do -WebKit for all our Safari people out there. And I'll say background clip will also be text. And then my color, what I'm going to do is RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0. Then I'll turn it inherently to a transparent color, which then will show through. So if we take out the color, what's going to happen is that black on black is going to happen. So the WebKit background and the background clip then clips the gradient right to the text. And if we go and remove the two background clips and remove the color to now be RGBA 000, now we have a crisp, clean, perfect gradient in CSS.